Whatever you do, do not think of the white bear. Did it work? If you have just pictured a big, fluffy polar bear, congratulations. You have just experienced one of psychology's strangest paradoxes. And what is funny, that is not just humans. Artificial intelligence does exactly the same thing. This little trick is known as the white bear paradox. And it reveals something deeply human. The more we try to control our thoughts, the more they control us. When we want to suppress unwanted thoughts, emotions, or outcomes, we often end up reinforcing them. For me, the white bear often shows up at night. When I keep thinking about an important meeting the next day, my mind goes in circles. The best thing I could do is just to get some sleep. But then I glance at the clock and I calculate that I would have 7 hours of sleep if I went right now. And that thought annoys me. And then more thinking, more worrying about the meeting and the fact that I don't have as much time to sleep as I would like. I check the clock again. If I fall asleep right now, I would have 6 hours to sleep. Sounds familiar? The harder I try to suppress my thoughts, the louder they get. Maybe you also had your white bear moment. Replaying the conversation that didn't go as well, thinking about that upcoming exam, or thinking about your ex that you swore you have moved on from. Psychologist Daniel Wagner discovered this in the 1980s. He asked participants to sit quietly, and to half of them he told, "Do not think of the white bear." Not surprising, these were the people who thought about the white bear the most. And it's not only a human issue. AI does the same thing. If I ask, for example, Midjourney to create a cozy room without a white bear, or a garden with no white bear, what shows up? Take a look yourself. Alright, so let me start by typing in my prompt. I start with the room. Let's see what comes out. Very interesting. It seems that the white bear indeed is appearing. And then now with the garden. Let me write my prompt. Okay, it seems that the white bear appears once again. So why is that? Because to not imagine something, human or machine, first you have to conjure up the image in your head. And once it is there, it is very difficult to push it out. So what to do with the white bears in our heads? We really have 4 choices. Number 1, we obsess over it. This is my favorite personal hell. We can replay the thought over again and again, letting it take up far more space than it deserves. In my opinion, this is by far the worst option. The Stoic philosopher Seneca made an excellent observation on this point. We suffer much more in our imagination than in reality. And yet, how often we spend hours suffering in our heads, only then to realize that what we are afraid of never really happened. Number 2, ignore it. We can try to pretend that the problem isn't there or distract ourselves. Psychologists call this the ostrich effect, figuratively putting our heads in sand. It can feel like a relief in the short term, but just like ignoring a credit card debt or a relationship that is declining, the longer we avoid the problem, the larger it grows in the dark. And when we postpone and postpone, we usually pay a much higher price, and usually with compound interest. So I would really not recommend this option either. Number 3, face it head on. This is the best option for when you have control over what you are afraid of. In this case, the best way is often through. Think about the conversation you have been avoiding, or the exam that you haven't started preparing for, or perhaps the fear of public speaking. By confronting them directly and experiencing them, we often realize that they are not as powerful as we thought. Number 4, acknowledge it. This is the best option when you don't have control over what you are afraid of. This is the mindfulness path. Instead of fighting, you notice. There is that white bear again. By noticing and naming it, we stop it lurking in the shadows. Maybe still in your room, but sitting quietly in the corner rather than climbing into your bed. Over time, it loses its grip. And again, this is especially powerful for things beyond our influence. A past mistake, the likelihood of another pandemic, or whether it will rain on your wedding day. Ask me how I know it. We cannot change those things, but we can change how we relate to them. The lesson from psychology, and even from AI, is to stop wrestling with the white bear. The stronger we fight, the harder the grip gets. If what you fear is in your control, face it, experience it in full, and you will find that it is often much smaller than you initially thought. If it's outside of your control, acknowledge it, notice it, and name it. Let it pass without dragging you under, because freedom doesn't come from controlling your thoughts, it comes from changing your relationship to them. So, what is your white bear? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this type of content, be sure to subscribe so you will not miss the next one. Stay curious and make your choices count. See you in the next one.